Hello, my lovely anatomists and physiologists, Michele Glass here, and we're back still talking about cardiovascular system. And what we're talking about in this presentation is what is referred to as cardiac output. Now, cardiac output is really talking about, we can say, the amount of blood pumped each minute. And then we're looking at each ventricle. Although remember, the left ventricle is the ventricle that's pumping blood out to the body. And so this is the one that we're really going to be interested in when we're thinking about how effective is the heart at getting the blood moving around. Okay, so cardiac output again is the amount of blood pumped each minute per ventricle. And so you can think of like per each minute as talking about with each one of those cardiac cycles, each one of those turns of the cardiac cycle. Now the cardiac output is an equation. So we actually can think about this as our stroke volume times our heart rate. And we're going to talk a little bit more detail, or a lot more detail on each one of these as we progress. When we are thinking about our overall cardiac output, we expect an average of about 5.25 liters of blood per minute. And we see like a normal range, depending on body types, of 4 to 8 liters per minute. Now, again, we're getting this value based on our stroke volume times our heart rate. So when we talk about the stroke volume, I think it's fair for us to think about this as the amount of blood ejected during ventricular ejection. So connecting in with our study of the cardiac cycle, when we see that ventricle contracting to the point that it's building enough pressure to push open the semilunar valves, and then we see that blood actually exiting the ventricles of the heart and moving out either through the pulmonary trunk or the aorta. That amount of blood is what we're talking about as our stroke volume. And we can also abbreviate stroke volume as SV. Heart rate then is, and let's go back and say like our stroke volume typically ranges like 55 to 100 milliliters. Heart rate then is talking about your beats per minute. So this is actually that how many cardiac cycles are you able to do in 1 minute's time? How many cardiac cycles are you able to do in 1 minute's time? And we see that the healthy range for heart rate, again, this is depending on body types, is about 60 to 100 beats per minute. And I think we talked about the average healthy adult heart rate as being about 75 beats per minute. And so we do see that these are multiplied against each other. So if we have a decrease of our heart rate, but an increase in our stroke volume, then we're still maintaining a good cardiac output. Or if we have a decrease in our stroke volume and an increase in our heart rate, we can still be maintaining a good cardiac output. So we do see that they can sort of compensate for each other. When we talk about our heart rate, and we're talking about this measure of like 75 beats per minute, this is measured by our pulse. So I think most of us are familiar with sort of feeling the push of the blood through our radial artery here at our wrist and kind of counting how many pulses we're getting in a minute. We talked about stroke volume having an abbreviation of SV, And we'll see that heart rate can be abbreviated HR. All right, up next, let's take a look at stroke volume in more detail. And as always, take care of yourself and each other.